Hi, this is David Dusek, Senior Editor with Golfweek magazine. Welcome to this week's edition of Ask the Expert, the place where you get to ask me anything you like about golf equipment, what the guy's using on the PGA Tour. So this week's letter comes to me from Jerry Consul, and he writes, "Hi Dave, I read that tour players will frequently bend their wedges so that a 60-degree wedge is bent to 59 degrees. Why do they do this? Can amateurs do the same thing? What is the benefit?" Well, you're right, Jerry. There are quite a few players on the PGA Tour who do slightly bend or modify their wedges just by a degree or so, and it would seem like it really wouldn't make that much of a difference. For example, Bubba Watson plays ping glide wedges, and he has a 52-degree gap wedge that he bends to 51 degrees and a 56-degree sand wedge that he bends to 55. He goes the other way with his lob wedge. He takes a 60-degree wedge and actually takes it up to 63 degrees. Justin Rose also de-lofts all of his wedges by 1 degree. He plays the TaylorMade Tour Preferred EF wedges, and he plays a 52 at 51, a 56 at 55, and he also uses a 60-degree lob wedge that he bends down to 59 degrees. So what's the deal? Well, these guys are really all concerned about gapping, and when you really take a look at it, they want to make sure that they can hit their wedges to very precise distances. They're very concerned with making sure that they have a gap that's very steady, so whenever they take a full swing with any of their wedges, they know exactly what the distance is going to be, and they sort of have them plotted out to very precise distances and ranges. That's what we refer to when we talk about gapping. The other thing that you really need to realize is that whenever you take any kind of a wedge and you're actually changing or either de-lofting, making the loft stronger, or taking the loft off, making the loft weaker, there's also a one-to-one relationship with regard to the bounce. So when you take a wedge, for example, at 60 degrees and you make it stronger to 59 degrees, you're taking away 1 degree of bounce. So when Bubba Watson takes his 60 and puts it up to 63, he's not only adding 3 degrees of loft, he is also increasing the bounce on the bottom of the club that's actually the playing bounce, the effective bounce, by 3 degrees as well, which could make it a little bit easier for him to play fluffy shots out of the sand, or in some cases to get down into rough without having his shots, his golf club, I should say, dig into the turf or into the sand. It's all a question of gapping and getting the right sole grind exposed, the amount of bounce, the way that they want it to work through the turf and the sand. It's a very personal thing, and you absolutely can work with a custom fitter to get your gapping distances and the sole configuration, the bounce, to be exactly the way that you would want to do it. I highly recommend you talk to a custom fitter, get out with them, talk to them about the conditions you play in most often and what wedge configuration is going to work best for you. Now listen, if you have a question you'd like to ask me, the expert, please feel free to email me at ddusek@golfweek.com, or you can send me a question anytime on Twitter at @golfweek_Dusek. Thanks a lot, and I look forward to seeing you soon.